Listen, y'all, this was my 4th full season covering the Miami Heat, and I greatly appreciate everyone that has tuned in along the way. The support means a lot. But that being said, I post a lot of videos, meaning I say a lot of things, and sometimes I'm not always right. Actually, most of the time, I'm not always right. And many of those times, I'm very, very wrong. So that's why in today's video, I want to react to some of my videos from before the season started. So we'll react to some Miami Heat bold takes and predictions. We'll do some general NBA stuff as well, because I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. A lot of people don't like to admit that, but I think that's one of the fun things about making YouTube videos, and we can look back and see how crazy some of the things were that I said now that we have some more perspective. So let's get into the video. So by the way, I did go through all of these videos beforehand just to make sure that there was something worthy of talking about, and I added some timestamps in the comments if y'all see those. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. That being said, we got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to make it quick. The first one that we got is a video titled 5 Bold Miami Heat Takes for this season that can actually happen. Let's see how right I was. This was from October 22nd, 2024. And the first prediction that I had is that Chris Quinn will not finish the season on the Miami Heat's coaching staff. Now, all right, 0 for 1. Obviously, Chris Quinn is still here, and I'm happy about that because I think he's a very good assistant coach, and maybe he will get his chance to shine soon. Obviously, you had Taylor Jenkins, Mike Malone get fired. Those will be some pretty coveted jobs. You just had Mike Budenholzer get fired today from Phoenix, which is not surprising because he sucks, and that team might suck. Looks like the Suns are looking to blow it up, so maybe Chris Quinn won't want that job, but I'm cool with it. He's a good assistant coach, and I at least hope that he does get his opportunity somewhere one day. But let's get into the next prediction, in which we got my second bold take is that Pelle Larsson outshines Kel'el Ware this season. Obviously, my reasoning for this was, well, Kel'el Ware's a lot younger. He's skinny. Where a guy like Pelle Larsson, he's very built. I think he has an NBA-ready body. He played 4 years in college, and he's very versatile. You know, he can do a lot of things in there that Spo can kind of use as a plug-in player. And while a lot of those things are true, Kel'el Ware looks awesome, and obviously he was inserted into the starting lineup basically halfway through the season, and I think he'll be there for a very, very long time. And Pelle got his chance to shine too. You know, later in the year when Wiggins got hurt, Pelle definitely had some great moments, but I would not say that he outshined Kel'el Ware. So let's get into the next prediction, which my third bold prediction is related to another young guy. And I think my boy Kashad Johnson is going to play 50-plus games. Again, not true at all. I don't even know if Kashad played 15 games. Let's go ahead and look it up right quick here. Kashad Johnson played 16 games, 6 minutes a night. So obviously he didn't get a ton of burn, but he's a guy that I do think the coaching staff loves because he embodies Heat culture, and he's like a switchable, versatile 4 on the defensive end. That's exactly what Spoelstra likes, and he played pretty well last couple of games of the season when he got some real runs. So going forward, I think he'll get some good minutes. It just didn't happen this season, although I did call him getting a standard deal because, of course, to start the year, he was on a 2-way contract, and I knew he would get that standard deal, which he did once, unfortunately, Drew Smith got hurt. But shout out to my guy, Kashad Johnson. Let's get into the next prediction, which is the first one. Is Tyler Herro making the All-Star team? Yes, sir! For all of those people that said I was a Tyler Herro hater, look at me now. I called Tyler Herro to be in the All-Star game. And the reason why is because I love the confidence in his mindset this offseason. You had Pat Riley call him out and say that he was fragile, but you didn't hear Tyler Herro complain. You saw him put his head down, get to work, and I really believed in him. I also believed in the Heat, which maybe I shouldn't have, but I did feel like he would have the counting stats to get the All-Star spot if the Heat were, you know, a top 5 or 6 team in the East. Because I didn't think Jimmy was going to, or I thought Jimmy was going to coast like he usually does. I didn't think Bam would have the counting stats, but I did believe in Tyler Herro, and so far, I'm 1 for 4 in this video, which is not that bad at all. Let's get into my last prediction. The Miami Heat will win the 2024-2025 NBA championship. You know what? I'm going to mark this prediction as incomplete because as of right now, we don't know. Maybe the Heat do win the play-in versus the Bulls. I'm recording this video 2 days before that. So maybe they beat the Bulls. Maybe they advance to the playoffs, beat the Cavs, and win the championship. Who knows? So I'm going to consider myself 1-4 for my predictions here with 1 incomplete. And in this next video, I'm actually reacting to your guys' takes. So I put a tweet out on Twitter, wanted to hear your Miami Heat hot takes, and we'll skip through the video a little bit, just see what some of y'all are saying. My boy Young Kutch says, Bam ends the season top 3 in MVP voting. Definitely not. I wish it happened, but he just got off the start. He just started the season off too slow. Minute Maid Mac, Bam, All NBA second team, and the Warriors make another finals run. Maybe we do get the Warriors one, but obviously a lot of people were optimistic on Bam so far. We just didn't get it for most of the season. PS3D J09 says we won't see a lot of Bam and Kel'el Ware this season. So fortunately, that was wrong. Obviously, second half of the season, Kel'el Ware got inserted into the starting lineup, and he's looked awesome. They really looked awesome with that tall-time duo. We also got my boy Jada Fox says Jimmy Butler plays in playoff mode throughout the season. Jay, you my boy, but this has been the worst prediction so far. Not that I blame you. I certainly thought we were going to get an engaged and active Jimmy. It just obviously it didn't really happen. My girl New says, I'll be right as usual, and you'll have to admit it as usual. Of course, what she's referencing is on our many interactions on the Basement Sports Network post-game show. Make sure y'all go follow over there. Go follow my girl New. She's known for her slander of Jimmy Butler, I guess you could say. I didn't want to hear it, but who's laughing now? Because, of course, Jimmy had an ugly exit, and the Miami Heat are sitting here with Andrew Wiggins. So I'm not afraid to admit it, as usual. New, you were right. I was wrong. What else do we got here? We got Jaime is going to be a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Yeah, obviously we didn't get that. I know I got a lot of optimistic comments about Jaime. Hopefully he bounces back, and maybe that 41 points he had to end the season is something that he can build off of. My guy Adrian says Alec Burks will have a similar role to Richardson last season. I guess both guys kind of played some spot minutes, but I do think going into the play-in, Alec Burks will probably be the starter, and he's had a good year. I think better than Richardson was last year. Tenzin says we can get the 3rd seed. Optimistic, I wish, but obviously did not happen. Heat Tua says, just because you can run through the East after coasting through the season, evident by the rankings, doesn't mean we're built to beat a team from the West. Bowl to take this is the final run. I guess he was right, unless you want to count last year as the final run. But for all intents and purposes, he knew that this build was coming to an end, and it did, unfortunately. So shout out to Heat Tua. Gabby says NBA chance. I love the optimism, guys. Bam's personal assistant, Dame, still goes to Miami. Marcus Morris was on First Take today saying that Dame and Giannis should go to Miami. So who knows? I'll put this prediction as incomplete as well. Damian says Herro or Jimmy gets traded by the deadline. Spot on, Mr. Damian 305. Shout out to you for nailing the prediction. I guess not everyone was optimistic. And my guy Trent from Top Notch Takes, also Miami Heat Network. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my boy. He says Miami Heat trade for a star player this trade deadline. Do you consider Davion Mitchell a star? I might. If that's the case, spot on, Trent. So shout out to you, my boy. But now I want to move on to this video where I predicted every game for the Miami Heat and also did a little bit of a schedule analysis. So let's see the first thing that I got time-stamped here. Y'all, what my official prediction is. Just coming. So this is where I literally went through every game and did win-loss. I guess I'm not going to go through and see how many games I got right. I'm sure I have them at way more wins than they actually got. But I guess you see over here, I have them at a long winning streak. What's that? 6-game winning streak followed by a 5-game losing streak. We kind of got that, except in reverse. There was more losses. We had a 10-game losing streak followed by a 6-game winning streak. So I guess I kind of knew the season would be up and downs. But let's see what record I had them at. Official prediction for the Heat outside of those remaining 2 in-season tournament games is 48-32. 48-32. What did he finish with? Like 30-something wins? God, I was ignorant. And look at this face. This is the face of an ignorant, optimistic man. What a fool I was. Let's see what the last timestamp is. I'm not super hopeful on the Hurricanes to begin with. If Cam Ward comes in and balls out, I'll be thrilled. But I've learned as a Hurricanes fan to sort of temper my expectations there. Really. Now, I was talking about the Miami Hurricanes because I was looking at the schedule conflicts between the Heat and the Dolphins and Hurricanes. And I was spot on with what I said there. I said if Cam Ward balls out, of course he did end up coming here and balling out. But I knew to not be optimistic in the Hurricanes because they always find a way to screw it up. But I'm not going to get into my Hurricanes rant because I already did that in my national championship reaction a few days ago where the Gators won the championship. But let's move to the next video. And in this video, I predicted Jimmy Butler's stat line. So let's see what I had to say. 20.2 points per game from Jimmy Butler. I said 65 games played, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 49% from the field, 38% from 3 on 3 attempts. I thought he was going to somehow turn into a shooter all of a sudden. Let's go ahead and pull up Jimmy Butler's stats. Why don't we? Let's see how, I was going to say accurate. I know I wasn't accurate at all. We'll just do his Miami Heat stats, I guess. Why not? I said 65 games played. He played 25 because obviously he wasn't going to be here and had a couple suspensions too. But 17 points per game, way down. I said 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Had about 5 and 5, and he was very efficient from the field. And we did get 36% from 3. It was only on 1.4 attempts. But yeah, obviously Jimmy Butler didn't have that great a season at all. And in this next video, I have it titled, Would Jimmy Butler Actually Leave the Miami Heat? And I timestamped one thing. I forgot what it was, but let's see what I had to say. That's why I believe Miami is Jimmy's home, and he is never, ever going anywhere. But oh my God, do y'all even need to see me react to that? I might just have to cut this part from the video because now I'm getting sad. Let's listen to it one more time. That's why I believe Miami is Jimmy's home, and he is never, ever going anywhere. Look at this stupid ass face of mine. Oh, nobody ever stays with Miami. We never get the fairy tale happily ever after ending. Why would I think anything would change, man? I look how peaceful I was here. I haven't made this face in 2 months because I got Andrew Wiggins on my team. He doesn't play basketball. Oh, God. And in this next video, I predicted Tyler Herro's stats, so let's see what I had to say there. Season, which is 21.2 points per game. I said 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and pretty efficient, 45 from the field, almost 40% from 3. Let's go ahead and go back to the basketball reference. Let's see how actually accurate I was there. Where Tyler Herro this season averaged 24 points per game. So a little bit higher. I said 21. So I said 21, 5, and 4. He actually averaged 24, almost 5.5 and 5. So he had a much better season than I thought, at least counting wise. In front of field this year, he shot 47%. So even higher than I thought. And he shot 37% from 3. So a little bit worse 3-point percentage. But obviously Tyler Herro got off to the season to such a blazing start from 3 and kind of cooled off after that. But for the most part, yeah, Tyler Herro surpassed my expectations by far. So shout out to him. I do got one more timestamp. This is a young guy who hasn't played over 70 games in his career. I need that this season because he's getting the money. He is one of the younger, theoretically more reliable guys on this team. I want to see him play over 70 games, and I'll be very happy. Guess what, Tyler? I'm very happy then. I said I want to see over 70 games from this year from Tyler Herro. 77. And of course, it could have been 78 if he played that last game of the season in which no one played. But yeah, shout out to Tyler Herro, man. Listen, we'll do, once the season is officially over, whether the Heat make the playoffs or not, we'll go through and do player grades. Again, we did that at the midseason. We'll do it once the season ends. Tyler Herro will get an A because obviously he has surpassed my expectations. Now let's look at the video where I predicted Bam Adebayo stats. And for this one, I'm going to let the intro play because I think it's pretty fire. Call me Emerald because bam! Bam, 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 bam! And you take some green onions and you go bam! We back! It's such a shame this video flopped. Look at that. Only 694 views, which I do greatly appreciate from all of y'all. But that intro was nice, man. You listen, y'all know I like to get in my editing bag once in a while, but sometimes I don't always have the time to do it. But when I do have time, I can cook up something special. But for some reason, a lot of my BAM-centric videos don't do good. Why do you guys think that is? I don't know. I do appreciate everyone that tuned in, though. But let's go ahead and go to my timestamp here. Looks like it was 9:27. Now, my final stat predictions for Bam Adebayo this season are 20.9 points. I said 20, basically 21, 10, and 3, 50% from the field, 34% from 3 on 1.4 attempts. That part's going to be close. So let's go to Bam Adebayo here on the basketball reference. And this season, Bam Adebayo averaged 18 points per game, so a little bit less than I predicted, but did average almost 10 rebounds, so I'm going to give that to him. Averaged 4 assists, so a little bit more than I thought. But let's look at the efficiencies. 48% from the field, a little bit lower than you would have hoped. Obviously, took a lot more jump shots. But from 3, oh no, he was way better. Almost 36% from 3 on about 3 attempts. That's awesome from Bam Adebayo, because obviously to start the season, he barely was shooting. And there was a stretch where for like 2 months, he was shooting like 17% from 3. But obviously in like his last like 25 games or something, he's shooting like 43% from 3. Obviously, he really picked things up in the second half of the season. I'm hoping he took like a Chris Bosh jump. And if so, I'll be very excited to see what he does next season. And now we're going to get into some rookie/draft predictions, where in this video, I gave my top 5 picks for who the Heat should target at number 15 in the draft. And the first guy, I think I got right, because it's Jared McCain. Starting with number 5, I have Jared McCain is wet. Said it, I'm golden. He was wet indeed. Pause, no pause, whatever you want to say. That boy was awesome. Obviously, he got hurt for Philly. Hopefully, everything's good with him. But I'd say I kind of nailed that one. Probably would have been Rookie of the Year. But hey, look who I got next. Moving on to my 4th favorite prospect, I have a guy that I know a lot of Heat fans like, and that's Kel'el. Ware is a straight up beast. Said it, I'm golden. Told you I'm shining. Look at me, man. I may not be able to predict if this team will be good or not, because I'm always drinking the Kool-Aid, and it's always half full. I'm a very optimistic man generally, but I know how to scout draft prospects because I'm 2 for 2. Kel'el Ware, I think, has been pretty damn awesome this season. Next, I had Tristan da Silva, who I'll just zoom in down here. Next, I had Tristan da Silva because he was more like a polished guy. I think he had a decent season with Orlando, actually. Let's pull up the basketball reference because I'm actually kind of curious how his season finished out, because I know he got off to a nice start shooting. Yeah, played 74 games this year, 22% from the field, so he was a legit spot in the rotation. Only 7 points a night and only 34% from 3. So, yeah, the efficiencies weren't great. But, hey, I wanted him as a guy who can contribute now if the Heat were looking to win a championship. And obviously that didn't end up happening for us anyways. But the next guy I had on this list was Deron Holmes II. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in training camp, so he never got to play for the Denver Nuggets. And then I did have Isaiah Collier, who got off to a very, very slow start with the Utah Jazz. But he's a guy that also kind of came on of late. And I think he'll be a good player in this league too. He finished the season playing 71 games, 26 minutes a night, 9 points, 6 assists. That's pretty good. The efficiencies are disgusting, but he's a young guard in the league, and usually those guys don't play well. And now let's get into a video that I'm ultimately not that proud of. It's my live reaction to the Heat actually drafting Kel'el Ware. And for some context, I was a little disappointed because although I like Kel'el Ware, I really wanted Dalton Connect, and I did not think he was going to slip to the Miami Heat, which of course he did. I just really loved him at Tennessee. I thought he was a big-time player who could score his ass off, and obviously the Heat needed and still desperately need scoring, so I thought Dalton Connect would be the perfect match here. So I apologize in advance for my initial reaction to the Kel'el Ware's drafting, but take a look. Let's listen to Adam Silver.
For NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Kel'el Ware from Indiana University.
Kel'el Ware, the sophomore center out of Indiana, played his freshman season, of course, at Oregon, sharing this moment with his family. Just taking in all the emotions with the folks who really helped get him to this moment.
And look at Kel'el Ware's face, man. Like, I should have known in this moment it was all going to work out because, you know, the tears, that's a man who wants to be there, worked his whole life, worked his ass off to get to this point. I should have known he was going to be a star from this moment, but let's continue. All right, here's the thing. I should not be as sad as I am right now because Kel'el Ware is an excellent prospect. He was number 4 on my realistic big board. And I'm not going to make this video about Dalton Connect because this video is now about Kel'el Ware, who I love. I love Kel'el Ware. There you go. That's enough for me. As long as I acknowledge that I love Kel'el Ware, y'all cannot clown me when he's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame by Eric Spoelstra because although I want to Connect, and yeah, Connect did have some moments too this season. Let's not act like Connect's a bum. I think he is and is going to be a good player in this league for a long time, but I'd much rather the Heat have Kel'el Ware. I'm not going to lie to you. And now let's get into my reaction of the Heat drafting Pelle Larsson, which is also a moment that I'm not proud of, particularly because this may be the worst start to a video that I've ever done on this channel, and it's because I forgot what Pelle Larsson's name was. 15 minutes after the Miami Heat officially selected Pelle Ware in the second round of the NBA draft. I guess I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly because ESPN barely mentioned it. And then I go on a rant about Bronny James. But all you need to know is throughout the video, I kept calling him Pelle Ware because I was thinking of Kel'el Ware because I thought that's how you pronounce his name. And then I saw Pelle Larsson, and I was just mixing up the two. Can you blame me? They're close. I needed some time. But let's get into my actual prediction about him. So I look at him as more of like a 3-level scorer / 3-and-D type player than a Duncan Robinson. I do want to know his... That is spot on. Because when the Heat, when people saw the Heat draft another white boy, they're like, oh, that's the Duncan Robinson replacement right there, without knowing anything about Pelle Larsson at all. And immediately when I watched him in Summer League, y'all know what I always say about him. He is good at a little bit of everything with the potential to be great at it all. And pretty much right away after I did my research on him, I said that he was a guy that looks like a 3-level scorer and can be a 3-and-D player right away. And that's basically what we got from Pelle Larsson. I think he's been pretty good at getting to the rim. We saw him use his defense to even get in transition, get into the rim. Obviously, he hits, a lot of threes this year, or several threes, but he still needs to work on that part of his game. And in the Summer League, when we really saw him be more ball dominant, he was getting to that mid-range as well. And Spo has trusted him a lot this year to guard some of the best perimeter players on the other team. So I would say that's a 3-and-D player. So I would think I was pretty spot on with Pelle Larsson. Now let's get into my actual stat predictions for the rookies. He's likely to miss more. So for that reason, I got Kel'el Ware officially playing 52 games. And in those games, I have him playing 11 minutes a night because when he does 52 games, 11 minutes a night, let's go back to the basketball reference here because that was way off. 52 games, what did I say, 11 minutes a night. He ended up playing 64 games, 22 minutes a night. So basically double what I thought that he would actually play. So again, on the season for Kel'el Ware, I got him at 6 points, 4 rebounds on 11 minutes and 52 games. 6 points and 4 rebounds. Oh my God. Let's go back over here. 9 points and 8 rebounds. And obviously his numbers were a lot better once he started being a substantial part of the rotation. That probably won't be accurate, but I wanted to throw something out there so we could check back later in the year. Spo doesn't like rookie bigs as much. He doesn't use them, so I didn't think he would. And then for Pelle Larsson, I do got him playing 57 games. I think he will be a guy that can maybe even get some starting slots. I just said right here, 57 games. And if we go back to the basketball reference, 55 games. So far, not too bad. What else did I have to say? We'll go the same thing. We'll go, 13, 14 minutes a night. Look at that. 14 minutes a night. I was spot on. Let's see what else I had to say about him, though. Got him getting 7 points per game, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Just 7 points a game, 2 rebounds, and an assist. And only finished with 5 points per game, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Okay, I kind of got those right. Give me some credit for that. But overall, I was way off on Kel'el Ware. I did not think he'd play as much as he ultimately did, but I was pretty spot on for Pelle Larsson, so shout out to me. So now let's get into some of my general NBA predictions. I did predictions for the East and the West. These are my East predictions where I had the Knicks 1, Celtics 2, Pacers 3, Bucks 4. All of those are relatively accurate. I guess the Knicks were a bit lower. But then I had Philly at 5, way too high. I optimistically had the Heat at 6. Obviously, they're down a bit. And then along with Philly, this is my worst miss as I had the Cavs at 7. And of course, they ultimately ended up being the number 1 team. But I did know the rest of the playing teams would be the Magic, Hawks, and Bulls, kind of who didn't. And then all of my bottom of the barrel teams were accurate except for Detroit. I had Toronto, Washington, Charlotte, and Brooklyn. But obviously Detroit, I had them at 13 and they would finish 6th. So I highly underestimated Detroit and the Cavs, highly overestimated the Heat and the 76ers. But outside of that, I didn't do too bad here. And now for my Western Conference predictions, I had OKC number 1. Absolutely nailed it. I did have the Mavericks at 2. Obviously, I didn't know they were going to trade Luka Doncic, so they are quite a bit lower. But I had the Kings at 3, so it looks like I overrated them and the Mavs. I nailed Denver because they are sitting at 4. Memphis and Minnesota, I kind of got those guys in the right range. Nailed the Golden State Warriors because they're currently at 7th. Highly underestimated the Lakers because I have them at 8th, and I think they finished like 3rd. And I knew that Phoenix was going to be bad. I take that as a win. I got them at 9. They finished at 11th. But people called me crazy for saying, you don't have Phoenix top 4? No, I knew they weren't going to be good. There's one ball. And how are you going to share that ball between Durant and Bradley Beal and Devin Booker? I just didn't like their top-heavy team construction. I knew Mike Budenholzer was a bum. I take that as a win. Now, I had the Spurs as well. Maybe they could have made some noise if Wemby didn't get hurt. But these two I completely flopped on. I had the Clippers and Rockets outside of the play-in. Obviously, those are like the 2 and 5 teams respectively in the West. Both those teams are awesome. And another one I did nail, though, is I had the Pelicans at 13. People called me crazy for that, too. They said, how are you going to put a team with DeJounte Murray and Zion and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum? How do you have them so low? Well, I just didn't trust them to stay healthy, which really was the case to the highest degree. So, of course, they're down here at the bottom, and everyone knew that Utah and Portland was pretty much going to be the bottom there as well. So, I got OKC perfect, and I got the Warriors perfect. I give myself credit for the Pelicans and the Suns as well, and I got the Nuggets perfect. But outside of that, I overrated the Kings, and I underrated the Clippers and Rockets, I guess. But overall, I don't think I did too bad. And now this time I did a video doing 5 bold takes for the general NBA. And my first one down here is that the Spurs make the playoffs. Obviously, that was wrong. I thought they'd get their way to the play-in and sneak in. And they will be very good next year. Obviously, Stephon Castle looks amazing. They have a high lottery pick this year. Maybe it ends up being Cooper Flagg. Who knows? That would be terrifying. But I think I was a bit too early with the Spurs to the playoffs one. They will probably make it next year. My second one here is the 76ers early elimination, which I nailed, right? They didn't even make the playoffs. Can't get any more early than that. So I kind of knew that team would suck. Although I rated them high in the regular season, I just didn't believe them come postseason. The next one I have surprising rookie of the year. Oh, let's see who I had there. And he's currently listed, I believe, at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the voting odds, or voting. I had Dalton Connect for rookie of the year. No surprise. Obviously, that did not happen. But looking at the current list here, I guess they had Stephon Castle at 6, and he'll end up winning it. So, for the most part, Edey had a chance for a little bit. Reed Shepherd didn't even play. I suppose you can make arguments for Sarr. Reese Shea definitely has a strong case. But Modest, too, you can make an argument. But, yeah, Stephon Castle is going to get the award. No Kel'el Ware here, which he's definitely should be in the top 5 of voting when it's all said and done. But that's who I had as my rookie of the year. I had a first-time All-Stars one. Let's see who I had in there. Is a couple of first-time All-Stars in each conference. Now, there's several options for both. Starting with the West, I'm not going to pick a guy like Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren because they're both second-year guys. They're both probably locks to make it. At least Wemby is. A guy like J-Dub certainly could make an all-star team too. But the guy I went with in the West is Alperen Şengün. Nailed it! Thing about me is I'm good at picking all-stars too. Let's see who I had in the East, though. From the Eastern Conference, the guy that I got is Franz Wagner. Franz did not make the all-star team. But if he did not get hurt, I think he was well on his way to making that team as well. Him and Paulo obviously both had amazing seasons, and I could see them both being all-stars going forward, so that's not a terrible take. And it looks like my last prediction of this video was a major Cavs trade, which they did make a nice move. They got DeAndre Hunter, but I kind of thought they would go whale hunting to really solidify their roster for a championship run, and we never really got that. But I think overall in this video, I did okay. I think so. Now, in this video, I reacted to a Bleacher Report article talking about some stars who could be on the move. And there's a couple interesting points that I made that I want to point out. I'm kind of holding out hope that Luka will ask out one day. And if he wins a championship with the Mavericks, that boy's never leaving. So I was kind of rooting against the Mavericks. I was rooting for their demise because I was hoping it would mean Luka would ask out, which didn't happen. But they did trade him, and I guess maybe I'm rooting for the Lakers' demise because he'd leave LA, perhaps. I don't know. That's never going to happen. I just think it's funny at this time. This guy right here had no idea that Luka Doncic would be in an all-star just 10 months later. Who would have thought? But let's go into the last one of this video, which I believe is me reacting to a Jimmy Butler trade package. I kind of like that for both parties there. Number 4, we got a familiar idea we've heard about is Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors. They have it via trade. Do they have the trade package in here? Something around Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, and Andrew Wiggins. Oh man, listen, from a Warriors perspective, I love it. I don't know, did it say something about Klay Thompson there? Yeah, so they're able to retain Klay Thompson also. It would certainly help rejuvenate that franchise and give them one last hurrah, another year or two with that core, because I think they're still really good. You know, outside of Klay Thompson, he's dipped a little bit, but you still got Curry. Draymond does what he does, and Jimmy Butler, I still think, can play at an elite level, so it does extend the lifespan of those guys. And I think the Warriors should do whatever they can to go all in on Curry, like for the next, the rest of his career. I think they owe that to him, especially considering he's still playing at an elite level. Now, for the Miami Heat, no, I hate this. Obviously, they'd be getting some draft capital of some sort, but Andrew Wiggins has the worst contract in the entire NBA, and I want no part of it. All right, I think we've heard enough. Listen, obviously, at the time, I really wasn't too happy with the trade, and it's pretty close to what we ended up getting. Obviously, the Heat also got Kyle Anderson, flipped another second-round pick for Davion Mitchell, but I didn't want the Wiggins contract, and I think I was right on that, right? And in hindsight, at least after one half a season, because Wiggins really hasn't been healthy here, and when he's played, he's been good, but my overall point is just that the Heat still aren't picking a direction in this trade, and that goes true when I was talking about it on June 7th, and it's also true today, because they traded an aging Jimmy Butler for 30-year-old Andrew Wiggins, who really doesn't move the needle for your team. I would have rather went young. I would have rather got off that contract just to give you some more flexibility, and I still feel that way today, but who knows? At this point, I still think Andrew Wiggins is a tradable contract. He no longer has the worst contract in the league, as I said at this point, because he did actually have a really nice bounce-back season for the Warriors, and obviously he's played well with the Heat too. So I do think he's a movable contract. We'll see what the Heat end up doing with that. I just thought my reaction to this trade was funny because it basically ended up happening like 10 months later. Who would have thought? And in this next video, I'm reacting to Paul George signing with the 76ers. I actually did a cutaway while I was recording another video because the news broke mid-filming, and this was my initial reaction to Paul George going to Philly. Because I explained why the Miami Heat absolutely dodged the bullet, and I'm not scared of the 76ers. Nailed it. I'm telling y'all, I was not scared of the 76ers. Paul George does not scare me. I don't like the man. He always comes up short in the playoffs. He's never healthy, and he's just a diva. Honestly, he's just a diva. I have one more timestamp here. Let's see what I had to say. Oh, I hope that Paul George does, in fact, go to the 76ers because all that team did is trade one habitual playoff choker in James Harden for a bigger one in Paul George. So, yeah, obviously I'm speaking in past tense here, but present tense earlier because I was doing a Paul George video while the Paul George news broke. So that's why it was kind of funny timing there. But you could see before it happened, after it happened, I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared of that team. And here we sit today in April. And would you rather be the 76ers? That answer is a definitive hell no. And finally, in this last video, I'm reacting to an article after the offseason happened, which was titled The 5 Biggest Mistakes. And I'm once again giving my opinion on the Paul George signing. And this is what I had to say. Which is a perennial loser. I don't like that from Paul George. He's one of my least favorite players in the NBA. And the 76ers are one of my least favorite teams. So I will look forward to their ultimate demise and being in salary cap hell for playing a playoff or for paying a playoff bum 4 years, $212 million contract. Nailed it. I said I look forward to their ultimate demise and being in salary cap hell. You cannot explain the current 76er situation any better than I did right here, which was 8 months ago. That video was recorded on July 18th. So I'm going to take a victory lap with that one. I haven't been that right since I called the Nets downfall. As soon as they traded for James Harden, I said, Harden, Kyrie, and KD, that's not going to work. They're going to lose in the first round. They got swept. I called that, and nobody believed me. Sometimes you just got to listen to Ant DiNardo because I know a thing or two. But also, I was almost wrong about everything in this video. So I got to enjoy the couple successes. But again, at the end of the day, I don't care about being right or wrong. It's just fun to make predictions on this stuff. And I'm just glad that I have people watching me. But that's all I got to say for this video. Make sure y'all subscribe so you could hear what other terrible predictions I have coming this offseason. And hey, maybe leave some predictions in the comments below so we can react to them a year from now. Who knows? Like the video, subscribe, all that stuff is greatly appreciated. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city, tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.